Hello, this is BalletMage from the Wingspan Tournaments Discord. Today I'm bringing you a game from the Emerald Tanager Tussle Tournament. This is my first Wingspan video, adding to the rich content available on the Wingspan Tournaments Discord. I'll include the link to the Wingspan Tournaments Discord in the comments below. If you're not a member, go and check it out. Also, I'd love your feedback in the comments below. This is a best of one double elimination tournament. And in today's game, I'm playing Middlife. We're both at 2 wins and 0 losses. Middlife is a strong player with an ELO over 1300. So let's go ahead and get started with today's game. We did flip a coin, and I am going first. Middlife sent out the invite, and here we go. Taking a look at our opening hand. Have some nice choices in the hand. I think what I was thinking here is card draw. Card draw, very good. Nothing much in the grass and the forest, but I see the gnatcatcher there in the tray. That's going to be very nice for a food source. The white-throated dipper is always great as an early bird to be able to look at cards, can draw 3 extra cards, look at 3 extra cards. So with 1 card down, be looking at 4. Let's take a look to see what's in the feeder. We think about this. Bonus cards. Wetland Scientist. I probably should be looking at that yellow-headed blackbird. That is such a strong bird in opening hands. Wetland Scientist makes it happen. I'm not sure what I was thinking here, why I didn't grab that right away. Bird Fiender, seeds and grubs. So I know I need to keep a fish to play that dipper. I really like that Sparrowhawk. It goes with the first round, end around gold. It's easy to get down. 5-point bird with the tucked card. So really cheap. I like the Bell's Vireo with the Gnatcatcher. It's going to be easy to get down. Extra bonus cards, a Star Nest. I don't know why I'm not looking at that yellow-headed blackbird. It should be an easy one to get down. I think I'm focused in on the Sparrowhawk and the Vireo. And if I took the Gnatcatcher, then I would have to keep the fish since there's no fish in the tray. I'll pull the Gnatcatcher, draw a grub, play the Gnatcatcher. It's so slow. I probably should have let this Vireo go. And you can see I'll think about taking this blackbird here. But in the end, you'll see, ultimately, I do not. I think that was a mistake. No, I know that was a mistake starting out. Early card draw is so strong. And with the tuck and lay and an extra tuck beyond that, it is such a strong card to have. And so there's my first mistake of the game, is not choosing that yellow-headed blackbird in my opening hand. I think I could have made the Sparrowhawk work if I wanted to keep it, but probably definitely the white-throated dipper and that blackbird would have been good. So I think this is going to make it a little bit of a challenge for me. I was definitely focused on the white-throated dipper. Know that be looking at 4 cards a turn, 5 if I discard an extra egg. So I think at the time I was thinking I can get this down with the Sparrowhawk and the Bell's Vireo. The Gnatcatcher gives me 3 cards up in the forest, and that gives me a good play for this first end of round goal. Probably should have ignored the first end of round goal, just put 1 bird up there, the Gnatcatcher, to make sure I qualify, and ignore trying to win it and instead focus on the rest of the end of round goals, with especially looking at the 4th with birds in water and Wetland Scientist. That teams up so nicely. And of course, I threw away the blackbird to start off with. So my opponent's pulling in their cards at this point. And I'll remind you that in the comments below, I'll include the link to the challenge for this tournament, and any other links that I mention will be in the comments below. So my opponent has chosen to keep a seed and a cherry, and as I expected, the Gnatcatcher has to come. That's just such a strong bird to put in the forest, already getting 2 food with 1 bird down. So my play here is just going to be to put the Gnatcatcher down, grab a grub, put down the white-throated dipper, and start digging through the deck. I do like that great blue heron, but without any fish in the tray, that's going to be hard to get down. Hopefully I can get some other wetland birds to play along with what I've got here, and maybe it won't be so bad. A couple of food draws, get that tray reset. It should be easy enough to get the Vireo down and this Eurasian Sparrowhawk. So I think 3 cards in the forest for the first round should be pretty easy, pretty doable. And of course, my opponent plays the pileated woodpecker, and I have no box nests down, but I know I've got this white-throated dipper I'll be playing down soon, and just hope they don't take food. Well, hope they don't take food too often. I miss out too many eggs. I've already missed out on 1, and let's see if I will miss out on another before I can get my dipper down. They only have 1 bird down, so it would be the same net effect. They're getting 1 egg, I'm getting 0. But of course, always hate to miss out on the free resources shared by my opponent. And they have once again gotten food. I miss out another egg, but the dipper goes down, and I won't be missing any more eggs this game. Now it's a matter of digging. See, they've just got the woodpecker down. They've got 2 eggs down, a little bit of food. See what else they do. And now I think it's always a question: do I lay eggs next? And so I'm looking at 2 cards, discard an egg, or do I just start digging? And you can see they played the Eurasian tree sparrow. That one grabs a seed if there is one left in the tray after every time I get food. I think that's easy enough to work around so they don't get too much free food when I get food. It might make my food draws a little suboptimal, but it's okay. So as you can see, I chose to pull cards here instead of laying eggs first, and end up with the Eastern Imperial Eagle on the from the white-throated dipper. So that's a nice pull, a nice net 10-point bird when laid down. Subtract any egg costs we have played from that. And then, of course, that yellow-bellied sapsucker is really nice. If I can get that down and it's my second bird, then I will be seeing I'll be seeing 4 food with just 2 birds down. That would be fantastic. Unfortunately, I need a cherry. There's no cherries in the tray. So let's pull birds again. And I like this double bird with the kinglet, and now I reveal the goshawk. Another bird here. So now I've got 3 birds with the goshawk, the Eurasian sparrowhawk, and the Eastern Imperial eagle that all are hunting birds and can be played just by tucking other cards. I'm going to need to get a lot of cards to get these birds down, but I think it's a good play. Of course, it revered the Savvy's warbler. Of course, my opponent grabbed that right away. Such a strong bird. See lots of cards early on. They've got nothing down in the wetlands, so I expect to see a couple of free birds from that. So now, if I'm going to play birds, I'm going to finally have to get things down. I do have this double bird that I picked up from the tray, so I'm thinking I can play the double bird, and I only have 1 food, and get down either the goshawk or the sparrowhawk, so I can end up with 3 birds in the forest, as I was thinking all along, with just one turn left. They had 2. Can probably tie that up and get 3, but tying this first end around goal would be not so bad. Here, if I play the double birds, I will force them to play another bird, or if they don't have one, I'll luck out and win that first end around goal. So of course the kinglet goes down, and now I think, which do I do? Do I put this? I don't have any food, so I have to do one of these double birds. I really like both the sparrowhawk and goshawk. Goshawk's worth 1 more, but have to tuck 2 cards. As much as I like that, sapsucker I think it's going to have to go. And ultimately, you see, I choose to play the Sparrowhawk right now. So the Sparrowhawk will go down and will tuck. Which will I tuck? Sapsucker or Vireo? I worked so hard to keep that Vireo earlier, but so I think Sapsucker just needs to go. Now, once again, sadly, I was not thinking about end of round goals here for down the road. So if you've been following along, I've managed to tuck my brown or discard my brown powered birds. So I'm holding 3 white powered birds in my hand. I've only played 2 browns. So it's going to make a little bit of catch up work to do here for the second end of round. So it was probably a mistake there. Not insurmountable, I don't think. We do end up tying the first end of round. You see, my opponent played a bird, and we see the second round tray. So immediately I'm looking at that Merganser. I really like that. There's fish in the tray. I'll be getting 2-3 food, so I could grab a couple of fish or fish and a seed. Maybe that turtle dove looks nice, and get a grub from the gnat catcher and be able to play the Merganser, hopefully the turtle dove, maybe the Bell's Vireo, but lots of opportunities here. And that Merganser, of course, will help with both my bonus card and this end of round goal and the final end of round goal. So I've got my eye on the Merganser. I know my opponent has the warbler they just picked, and so I wonder what they're thinking here. You have 2 brown power birds down. Oh, it's the warbler they played. That's right, it was the warbler they played last turn, so that's a card tucking in the forest. So we wait for our opponent to play what they're going to do here. I'm thinking about this. So with that warbler, they've got a card they could tuck and perhaps take. Yes, they do get food and take that Merganser. So that's sad for me. Do like that. I really like double birds. That mountain bluebird is really nice. I don't have cherries to go with it, but I like the bluebird. I like bonus cards. The turtle dove, both those are really on my eye. And of course, the dipper would let me reset. So yeah, I'll grab those, reset the tray, and two tucking birds, both the European goldfinch and snow bunting, and then of course the nightingale for food. And I cannot believe all 3 of these birds are showing up here. You've got the warbler tucking up there in the forest. I have to take one of these tucking birds. Snow bunting is easier to get down. It's such a strong bird. I think that has to be my first. I think that has to be my first pick. There's no seeds in the bird feeder, but I grab a worm. I could reset it and perhaps get that snow bunting down pretty quickly. I think that's a good play that I'm looking at there. I really like that. Have to imagine they're going to pick up, deny me the goldfinch and or the nightingale. I don't know if they prefer or don't prefer to. They've been pretty cooperative, giving me eggs. So I imagine that they might grab that nightingale and play that to get some extra food. Perhaps they have a strong food engine already, and so might deny that. So lots of possibilities for them here. Don't know how many cards they've got in their hand. They've got something else to tuck to be able to pick up one of those. I imagine that's what they'll do. No, Savvy's Warbler. Okay, so be getting some free cards from Savvy's Warbler. I've got to go and grab these 2. It's just I can't leave those for my opponent. I love those tucking cards, and on the redraw, I'm going to be putting a lot and running an egg engine here, then I can't leave that magpie behind. So I'll just take one. Of course, we always have these play another bird cards with the white wagtail. I waffle back and forth on the wagtail and cards like it to know whether they're good or not for me to play. Always hard to manage, but it is, again, not another brown power as I'm looking here. So we'll skip that. Let's grab some food. As I'd suggested, wanted to grab a grub, re-roll the bird feeder, grab a seed. I'm looking at the goldfinch. I have also this double bird to play. I really don't want to leave my opponent a seed in the tray when I grab food. So let's grab a couple of extra grubs. I really want that cherry, but I don't want to give them extra food. This was probably another mistake, a little bit of tempo in here. If I had grabbed the cherry and left them the seed, I would have been able to get down, something a little faster. Perhaps either of these tucking birds, the bunting or the European goldfinch, could have played either of those. Of course, we do also have the double bird with the eastern bluebird. If I'd had a cherry from that, I could have played the eastern bluebird, perhaps, and the snow bunting. So again, I think another mistake. I think what I was thinking at the time is I need to lay eggs. I don't have any at the time, so I can't play double birds anyway. So if I deny my opponent that one piece of food and take something extra I don't need, I can put down the nightingale and then go from there. Get an extra card from the Savvy's Warbler. That's always nice. Kingfisher helps with the end of round goal. Fourth end of round goal helps with the next end of round goal. This one, but it is an expensive bird. That was my bonus card. Low points. It's probably not too late. I probably should be looking to play this. Couple of fish. Can get it down, or even in the tray. Grab a fish and force it down. I'm pretty focused at the moment on the eastern bluebird and on the snow bunting, the European goldfinch. And so while I thought about the kingfisher, how expensive it is and hard to get down with the food that's in the bird feeder, I'm not thinking about it at this moment. I think that's another mistake that comes up in this game here. Probably also not paying a close enough attention to what my opponent is actually doing. Probably need to focus in and switch over, look at their board, think about what their strategy might be as they're moving along. They've developed a forest and food draw. They get a point in there from their warbler. They played that mercancer, so now they've got card draw, getting 4 cards a turn. While they give me one, so they're pulling 4 cards. I'm down to 1. Another free card here. Another wetland scientist bird, but again with the greater flamingo, expensive bird to get down. It's low points. I've got the food to push it down, but once again, you can see I chose to get eggs, and I'm thinking about here, do I want to get that flamingo down? I don't have the greatest card draw. I'm starting to get a lot of cards here in my hand. I've got a lot of cards that need birds to tuck. Probably should get some of these water birds down, but I'm still focused in on the double bird and the snow bunting. So ultimately choose to get a cherry so that I can play the double bird play here coming up next. Got the eggs for that now. I couldn't play the flamingo right away. I had no eggs before. I had to lay eggs before I could do anything. But I got the food for the double birds. Got 3 brown powers down now. My opponent has 3 as well. But the 2 that I've got left are those 2 3 food cost birds in the water. That's going to be tough to get those down. And I'm not thinking at this point about my bonus card. By now, I've completely forgotten about it and forgotten that the bonus card aligns with the end of round goals. I'm just thinking I've got these tucking birds. I need to get these the snow bunting and the European goldfinch down so that when my opponent gets food, I'm getting extra points, or I deter them from rotating cards and getting points. And they got food again. I get another free egg. That's fantastic. So I can make this double bird play. I still only have 3 brown powers down. I don't know how I'm going to compete with this end of front goal. Once again, not paying attention to what my opponent is doing. They've got 4 down. I could have gotten 4 down, but I'm really focused in on this double bird play and not looking. See, I think about what do I want to do. Oh, what do I want to do? No, need to get the snow bunting down. So ultimately, I go with the snow bunting, and we'll wait on the double bird. Didn't have the resources, I think, to go that direction. Wanted to get it down, but I still only have 3. They've got 4, and now I've just given up the end of round goal. I could have gotten another bird down in the water with a brown power, but I've resolved that I'm going to give that up. Once again, another mistake. So I have to think about, as we go into the middle of game, and he plays a common raven. So there's a 5th brown, and I'm stuck just playing the snow bunting, and I have this the European goldfinch in my hand, and I am still focusing in on getting it down. I think that's a mistake. Once again, is focusing on getting that down. They are certainly tucking through that warbler, getting food, but after having played the raven in the grassland, have to believe they're going to minimize the amount of tucks they're going to have on that warbler in the forest. So playing playing the goldfinch at this point probably is not worthwhile. It might be one to save until I see what my opponent does, or use it as a tucking card. It doesn't have a lot of value for me. You see, I go and decide I need cards at this point. They're, once again, the grebe is not a bad card. I probably should have grabbed it, but instead I just drew blank from the deck and reset the tray. None of these are particularly exciting, so I don't know why I didn't grab the harrier. At least it could be another bird in the water for me. But you see, I revealed the warbler, blue-winged warbler, for my opponent. A nice cheap 8-point bird with their raven. Have to imagine they're going to grab that warbler right away, either through tucking in the forest or through pulling cards. I'm not making any progress on this wetland scientist. This is quite poorly played here. Now once again, thinking about that initial card play and card draw and how things would be different if I had chosen that yellow-headed blackbird. But this is the bed that I've played, and I will stick with it. See, the bird feeder just reset, so my opponent is grabbing food here, which means they're gonna tuck a card, and I have to believe they're gonna grab that warbler. Just so easy to get down for them. Big 8 points, and in my head again, I'm still focused in and thinking about, okay, I've got to get this other tucking bird down. Now I do finally get a tuck on the bunting. Bye woodpecker, and egg cannon there. I don't see how that's any good, and that reveals the blue throat. It's my turn. That is a fantastic card. 7-point bird. I already have the food to get it. At this point, I should be grabbing that blue throat and slamming that down. My opponent's going to be getting, they've got so many places to get food, so the blue throat can only help me even if I'm giving them 2 food a turn. It could go in the water, most likely put in my grasslands. But no, I am focused in on this goldfinch. So what do you think I'm going to do? I should grab the blue throat, right? No. All right, so we play, we lay eggs, and grab food so that we can play this double bird and the goldfinch. Again, another mistake. Leaving the blue throat for my opponent was probably the last turning point. I couldn't prevent the warbler. I couldn't prevent him from them, getting the raven, obviously, but leaving the blue throat 7-point bird there, where they've got easy access to food, just a huge mistake. Now I have to believe once again they're going to grab that blue throat. Such a strong bird. It can fit that end around goal. It doesn't meet this end around goal. I've already got 2 eggs there. They've got just 2 egg spots in their raven. I think I can compete on the end of round goal here at least. It's feeling pretty good. If I get perhaps one of these other hunting birds down, the ghost hawk or the eagle, that gives me a couple of more of those platform nests for additional eggs. And you can see they have just 2 at this time, so I get 2 more. That gets me to 4. Hopefully that's good to compete or perhaps win this end of round goal. They're having a long think here, and I wonder what they're thinking. Grab the blue throat through tucking gives me a point with my snow bunting, maybe even another egg. Can they get the food they want, or do they just pick it up? And there you go. You can see the woodpecker activated, the blue throat's gone. So another mistake. I get 2 points there, but gave him up the Tauhi. Well, you would have been nice earlier. And middle of 3rd round, I don't think so. So I planned so long and hard this bluebird and goldfinch play. It's going to happen. Probably fruitless at this point. We've seen the bunting get 2 tucks, but with my opponent that has picked up these food birds and the raven. I don't know what I was thinking here. Why would I think they'd continue to tuck behind either that warbler or not get food from the blue throat? Why and the raven? Why force down and use all my food for the goldfinch when I have other opportunities? I don't know. Probably a bad play. Flycatcher. So another food generating bird. Maybe I'll see some grubs from that, but it is another 8-point bird. So they picked up another 8-point bird from the tray, the blue throat. So they've got a lot of big point birds they're going to be putting down here, and I don't have them. You see, my hand is all low birds. So let's get the eagle down. Gives me my other 2 spots for eggs. Can compete or perhaps win this end of round goal. Get rid of the flamingo. Be good for my wetland scientist, but it's just, I judged it's too hard to get down. So we let that go. See where we are here. They still only have two egg spots, 2 turns left. I can lay eggs here. That gives me my 4 spots. Get food. Play another card. I don't have anything that's going to help me with either the bittern or the kingfisher. Wetland scientist is not looking good at this point. Early decisions sort of made that out of play. If I had put down that kingfisher earlier, it might have been that might have been a possibility. But now, with 1 round left, low point birds. I've got 4 points, discard 1, food for 5 points in the grass 5-point turn. I could just lay eggs all the way out. See how it goes. That's 5.25. Fill up my egg spots, 30 points with eggs. Need to play 1 more bird at least. I've got 2 I can see, maybe 3 I want to play. So we'll see how it goes. If I lay eggs and keep that seed, I could pick up another seed to get that turtle dove down. So that would be easy to get down right away. Put that in my in the water to at least get me a 2nd bird for the end of 4th end around goal. Oh, and a grub. So I know what I'm thinking here is grab a seed. I've got a grub, can play the turtle dove, and with the turtle dove, get food, grab a grub, and it saves me a tempo. I can put down the vireo in the forest, and I'm still ahead on these end of round goals. This is fantastic. And they played this another 8-point bird. It gives them 2 more platform spots, so that means they're going to tie the end of round goal. And this comes to my, I think, 2nd to last mistake. Turtle dove. I didn't even see that when you play the turtle dove, not only do you get a bonus card, which is 3 points, that's respectable. Have an option to pick a card, lay an egg, or gain food. I should have laid an egg on top of the turtle dove to win the end of round goal, but I was so focused on what my next turn was going to be, playing the vireo, that I needed to grab the grub to play the vireo and save myself a tempo. Instead, I give my opponent the opportunity to tie the end of round goal instead of me winning it. So there's 3 points missed on that play. That is disappointing. Oh, I hope this video is giving you all some thoughts about playing without blinders. I was very focused in on what my plan was going to be in this game, and as Tay from Tuck and Cash likes to say, pivot. I did not pivot and change my thoughts here, and was stuck into where I go. And I also didn't follow Flan's advice from Wingin It on early card draw. Early card draw is so important, and I missed on both of those. Got a lot of bird down and possibility for an egg engine this last round. But at this point, I'm still thinking, okay, I can still get my wetland scientist. If I play both of these birds, I can get this down. I have the food for the Vireo, but I think it's probably better to get the 3 points from the wetland scientist. So we don't discard food and just lay eggs and grab the food we need to play a card, then we can compete on this end of round goal and meet the minimum for the wetland scientist. The diet specialist, I only have 2 birds that meet that, so I've got the minimum, but I only have 1 bird in my hand, so I can't get the maximum on it without drawing cards. Drawing cards at this point is very late in the game. I don't like to draw cards at the end if it's not getting me anything. My opponent doesn't have a strong engine necessarily anywhere, but they have all of these big 8-point birds. They've got 3 down in the water. So if I get 1 down, I can tie them. And so I think I can follow some advice here, once again, from Flan from Wingin It, is don't play a bird until you have to. So draw eggs, get the food. Now I've got the food to play the Kingfisher. I can at least tie this end of round goal. I've got 3 turns left. So I've got the food. I can play. If I still have a chance to hold on to that poor Bell's Vireo since the beginning of the game. I'm feeling a little bit short here. I think they've got me on end of round goals. They've got me on bird points. They've got me on tucked cards. No, I've got more tucked cards than they have. Definitely on bird points. So perhaps taking that Bell's Vireo, finally playing it, roll the dice for bonus card. Get a good bonus card. If you can get 4 or 6 points out of there, it'll turn into a 6 or 8 point play. It'd be better off than laying eggs. If I can get the Kingfisher down, it will tie the end of round goals, and that will be okay. That's what I was thinking at this point. As soon as I put down the Vireo, I have now given up Wetland Scientist and think I'm just going to get to tie the end around goals. You saw I got the bird counter bonus card, 4 points, so that's respectable. 6 point turn, that's okay. I know I had enough food. If I had laid eggs one more time, I could have grabbed another fish, and I would have been able to play both the Kingfisher and the little bit turn, but I'm thinking that little bit turn is 0 points. It gives me 3 points for the Wetland Scientist. So roll the dice and go with the bonus card on the Vireo. I know I'm behind there. And they played a bonus card with the Woodpecker. All right, so my last play, I've got 2 cards left. I will grab the food I need for the Kingfisher and then play the Kingfisher to tie the end around goal. So again, I can't discard food. So 4 of these turns or 3 of these turns in this last round, I've not been discarding food to save up to play some of these birds. And so giving up, turning my extra food into points by laying eggs so I can have the food to play a bird. Plan on playing that Kingfisher to tie the end of round goals. And if you are following along, you clearly know that I have forgotten something. What did I forget? Did you guess yet? Let's see what my opponent did. Yeah, the blue throat. Oh, I forgot they threw the blue throat. Now I can't even tie the end-around goals. That Kingfisher is worthless to me. So I go back to the Ghost Hawk. At least it's worth 5 points. Laying eggs is worth 5 points. And as Flan from Wingin likes to say, the more interesting play is the fun one. So I will take my 2 cards, tuck them behind the Ghost Hawk, get my 5 points, and go home with my tail between my legs. I'm not feeling too good about this at this point. Force down these bad plays, put down low point birds, lost 2 end around goals, tied 2, so I'm behind on. I feel like I'm behind on bird points, probably behind on bonus cards as I goose egged 1, behind on eggs. Yeah, so they got me on bird points, on bonus cards, on end around goals, on eggs, and food on cards, and just certainly not enough to catch up with tucked cards. So there it is, a healthy 15-point win by my opponent. Congratulations to Middlife, who goes on to the 4th game in the winner's bracket in this tournament, the Emerald Tanager Tussle. And I'll move to losers bracket to move off to play my 4th game in the losers bracket. And thank you very much for watching.